has that study been done to see how we can put people out in these smaller communities to come into Wilmington and Dover to work and afford it? Or there's so many of the houses that are sold, they totally need renovation, so there's more job creation. Can we get funding to renovate all these old factory houses and put a young working family in it to come to the mountain to work, or come to the Dover, Wilmington area to work? I mean,
Right, so the Housing Committee is in its infancy right now, and there has been studies, housing analysis studies done throughout Windham County, and we are working with Windham Regional Commission on this, and to figure out, do we need our own study that is studying Dover, Wilmington, the Deerfield Valley, Reedsboro's included in that, Wardsboro's included in that, Halifax, Whitingham. So do we need our own study to figure out what we need to be focusing on?
Most people sit along this continuum of partnership. Some people are kind of, reticent to partner. Some people are reluctant to partner. Some people are willing, if they're presented with partnership, to go along with it. Some people seek out partnership. The leadership at the Lightning Jar, Dimitri's here, also a co-founder and leader of the Lightning Jar, is way off the right-hand side. And through being way off that right-hand side about really going beyond seeking partnership, the Lightning Jar has been successful. And I myself and through SVMC have learned that you gotta be off that right-hand side. So my message across to you is partner, partner, partner. I mean, if you even think about Amazon, ginormous company, huge, successful, they partner with the US Postal Service. Did you know that? So even companies as large as them have partners. So that's message number one. The second part is, how do we actually figure out who to partner with and how to partner? And really the easiest way to think about it is, many of you know the Venn diagrams, right? So Dimitri and I sat down the other day and tried to put up a picture of the Lightning Jar kind of. So these are our suite of services. We have co-working space and signature series speakers and this and that. Well, this is Lever. And when you put the two together, so this is our cross-border partner, you see, we share a bunch of stuff together. We do entrepreneurial training together. We also run a couple demo series and pitch contests together. We bring us those series things together, like local knowledge and some other things. They also bring some things that we don't. For example, through their initial connections with William College, because they're in North Adams, they have actually some connections across the country to other venture capitalists in deep pockets to actually bring capital to the equation that Lightning Jar can. So that is the key to partnership. Think about your organizations, think about yourself as inside a circle, and if you're trying to achieve something, who do I need outside the circle that can bring?
Using soccer as an example, we're trying to get into other sports as well. We built a relationship with the Vermont Soccer Association. Everybody familiar with them? Soccer is, if you look at it from a religion standpoint, lacrosse would be Protestant. It's very decentralized. You can't really figure out who's in charge. Soccer is like the Catholic Church. It all funnels straight up to FIFA. So when my kids played in tournaments this spring, they're actually playing ultimately under the FIFA banner. FIFA is the one that was the major corruption scandals a couple of years ago too. So I guess absolute power does corrupt absolutely. So that was a really important partner with us, with the Vermont Soccer Association. Meg Munson and Ed, who is the chairman of the board, came down. The Manchester Business Association and some of their folks put them up overnight. We gave them a tour, and they were really sold on the facility. So from that, we actually had a tournament November 11th. Veterans Day was our first big launch. Anybody remember that? The day started out 15 degrees Fahrenheit. The tournament was 10, 12, and 14-year-old boys and girls. Tough teams, though. There was not a lot of complaining. But the reviews that we got from that event were really big. We also had some partnerships above and beyond that as far as the operation. Paul Crocchio was back there. His name comes up quite a bit because he's pretty involved in it. Paul volunteered to do all the glamour end of the job. Porta potties, parking, which are actually probably the most important things when you're having a tournament. If your porta potties are dirty and your trash is overflowing and your parking is inconvenient, that's really going to doom any event that you have, whether it's a tournament or not. And then Manchester Designer Outlets has been involved in the tournament. And we did something interesting because we had all these elite teams in from the Northeast. We had teams from Maine, New Hampshire, Rhode Island. This year we're supposed to expand this tournament into Massachusetts, Connecticut, and maybe over into New York. We hosted, at a new restaurant that was ready to open, we hosted a reception that night for the coaches and for the folks from the different state associations, which was something really unique. Usually when you go to a soccer tournament, you're lucky if you can get a free bottle of water, but we actually were able to put on a pretty nice reception, actually. So, that's pretty much the initiative in a nutshell.
In the executive branch, the 3 priorities that we were handed December of 2016, before we all started, were work on affordability, economic development, and protecting the most vulnerable. Within the Agency of Commerce and the 3 departments that we have in our wheelhouse, economic development, housing and community development, tourism and marketing, I inherited a desk that was full of reports and surveys and studies and white papers and things that government and our various partners, including a lot of folks in the regional development corporations and others, work really hard at creating to help inform policy development. We are good at creating these stacks of reports. It didn't make any sense, given that ongoing level of work, to start building new ones to try to figure out what the strategy was. So all we did was we did a 3-year retrospective analysis of all the surveys and reports and white papers and policy initiatives that we could find. We uncovered 143 reports that went back 36 months. We put them all in a database and we pulled out the common threads. When we were done, we had 10 common threads. We did an engagement process in rooms like this, whittled that down to 7, took those 7 and called them into 5 buckets. And they all relate to workforce. Because at the end of the day, the primary challenge that we hear about on a day-to-day basis is how do we find workers to grow businesses, to fill the jobs at nonprofits, to fill the jobs in our municipalities and government, to keep things moving. So illuminate the vibrancy of Vermont, so tell the stories of what's happening here.
So what story do we tell as our technology and economy evolve? Is it the disconnect? Tech at all costs? Amazon drones delivering us food, heating oil, and craft beer? Sure, it sounds great in the middle of February. You know how that is. But are we constantly on our devices? Are we just increasingly being disconnected? Does that really fit into Vermont's brand? Or is it an infused technology and enhancing our life and inviting increasing connections in remote dirt roads and bustling downtown main streets? It's creating and implementing a tech that improves our transportation, housing, food, entertainment, and health systems. I think we know where to head. The vision that sets for what kind and how much tech we apply to Vermont in life. How we talk about tech in Vermont matters.
In 2015, we sold a branch that we had in the town of Springfield, making the conscious decision that we were going to focus our attention on Wilmington County. That's where we're headquartered. That's where we felt that with the continued consolidation of the banks in the state of Vermont into large out-of-state and out-of-country banks, that there was a real opportunity for us as now the only remaining bank headquartered in southeastern Vermont. Some of you heard from Jim Brown was here today. He's the only remaining bank headquartered in southwestern Vermont. We're a mutual savings bank, which means we have no stockholders. The beauty of having no stockholders is we don't have anybody saying to us, how much of an increase in my dividend are you going to give us this year? What that allows us to do is make decisions based on what's best for the communities that we serve and best for our employees, which is our biggest investment.